Hello, and welcome back to our Awakening Intuition video series, where we pull oracle cards twice a month from my oracle decks, Awakening Intuition and Grief, Grace, and Healing. So today we're going to be pulling cards for the first half of March 2024. And before we get too far into the video, this is the moment where you can pause and use your own intuition to discern which card I pulled today might be most helpful for you in the first 2 weeks of March. So this is a quick intuitive exercise. You're asking your intuition for a number 1, 2, or 3. So right now, just pause the video if you need to. Ask your intuition, which number am I most drawn to? Which card would be most helpful? Card number 1, card number 2, or card number 3. And there's a couple ways your intuition might communicate this information to you. You might actually hear a voice in your mind saying, number 1. So that's a voice, that's the intuitive psychic pathway of clairaudience. You also might see an image in your mind. You might see the image of the number 2. That is clairvoyance, the visual psychic pathway where you see images in your mind's eye. The third way you might get this information from your intuition is when I say the numbers 1, 2, or 3, your energy just might be really pulled to that number 3. There might be a lot of kind of heavy or intense or exciting energy around that number 3. That's your clairsentience, your psychic pathway that feels energy and emotions telling you, yep, card number 3 is the best one for you. So here we go. Also before we get started, I do like to sometimes do a quick recap of the past cards from the past 2 weeks. And this time I'd actually like to do a quick recap of February. So it felt like a very busy month for me. I don't know if it was a very busy month for some of you. And sometimes busyness can be external and it can even be internal. A lot of changes, a lot of thoughts, a lot of emotions going on internally. A card that we picked from Awakening Intuition in February was create sanctuary spaces. It was really interesting. The whole month I found myself doing that, really cleaning, tidying, organizing, and most of all kind of softening my physical spaces, making them beautiful, making them really nurturing for me with all the physical stimuli there, lowering the physical stimuli a bit, soft noises, soft lighting, all of that, soft fabrics. So having those sanctuary spaces in my own home and office that I could really snuggle into, kind of cocoon, and find a safe, warm, loving spot for myself in all the busyness was really, really helpful. And that's something also, if you had some things come up in February where you really had some of your control issues triggered, like, wow, there's some things going on that I cannot control. I'm having to surrender, kind of do the best I can as I navigate through this. Sometimes having something you can control in a healthy way helps you get that nice sense of control back, again, in a healthy, positive way. Like, let me just tidy this. Let me clean this. Let me make this space really soft and nurturing for me. So I don't know if that came up for you in February, but it was very helpful for me, and you can always continue that theme in March. So here we go. We are going to start shuffling. First, we'll unbox this Awakening Intuition. Very exciting. I got some news from my publisher just this week that this is already going into its second printing. So we have just been selling these like hotcakes. It's a very, very popular oracle deck now. I'm thrilled. I'm very humbled and grateful to have been a part of it. And it's going into its second printing. So, if you don't have one yet, don't worry. There are more on the way, and there are still decks you can get on Amazon or barnesandnoble.com right now. So we'll go ahead and unbox it. It's got this beautiful little velvet velour pouch it comes in. We'll get the cards out. I always look forward to shuffling these every week because I don't know what the cards are going to be either. I'm shuffling these here with you, as we're filming. So it's exciting for me too. And find your own shuffling method, or if you have a shuffling method you really like, go ahead and use that. But I'll show you one of my shuffling methods that some of you that watch these videos are familiar with. So first we'll just warm up the cards here between my palm chakras. And we're setting the intention with the archangels, guides, all the benevolent, loving forces that we just want some lovely, calming, healing, inspiring, encouraging, practical and helpful messages for us first week of March. here we go. So we'll start shuffling, and we're looking for a card to really jump out and get my attention and say, Tanya, Tanya. Now it's interesting, that really stuck out. It held there. It didn't fall back in with the others. It just peeked out a bit, but I feel like that one wants to come out. And we are going to pull another card. That one is peeking out a little too small for me. There you go. So these are our 2 cards for Awakening Intuition for the first 2 weeks of March. And now we are going to pull a card from my other Oracle deck, Grief, Grace, and Healing. This has been getting some really wonderful reviews on Amazon, and I was very encouraged by those because I wanted this product to be a very healing product for people who are grieving any kind of loss in their life. This could be the loss of a home, the loss of a job, a relationship that leaves your life, a person who passes away and goes to the other side that you're missing. It could be any kind of loss from the past or the present. It could have happened years ago and you're healing again through it, or it's happening now. So I was really encouraged by the reviews I've seen of this. It seems like it's doing the work that myself and the publisher are really hoping it would do in the world. It also comes in this beautiful little pouch. So if you're traveling and you just love pulling a card for yourself every morning, you can take that with you if you're doing any traveling this spring, or if it's not spring where you are, wherever you are in the world, if you're on Australia. So we'll do the same thing. We'll just warm this deck up between our palm chakras here. And we're really asking, I'm hearing for something soothing from this deck, really nice soothing message from this deck. And we'll do a slightly different pull method. We're just going to let the cards, get a good handle on them here, let the cards open where they want to. That will show us a nice soothing, wow, this is one of the most soothing cards in the deck. So some of us might need this in the first 2 weeks of March, and the angels did not let us down. We've got a lovely soothing card to work with. Okay, so this is a point in the video where you can go back to your card number 1, 2, or 3 you picked with your intuition that might be most helpful for you in the first 2 weeks of March. And you might find that all the cards resonate with you a bit, so you don't have to stick with that number you picked. The first card, number 1, is Expect Heightened Sensitivity. I'm actually really, really glad we pulled this card because it's something I love to talk about, and it's a common thing to happen with your intuition. So let's hear what the card has to say. Expect to receive more intuitive guidance via your feeling or clairsentient psychic pathway now, like feeling other people's emotions as your own, easily sensing the energy of spaces, or experiencing physical intuitive sensations like chills. This temporary shift helps you navigate change. Your sixth sense is supporting you during a transition phase. Okay, so really I think we should take that card quite literally. This card in the deck, and there's more information about it in the guidebook if you have this deck at home, is about when we have a big change happening in our life, a big transition. It could be really positive. It could even be something that's, neutral, or it could be something that is really challenging, especially initially. Sometimes all transition, even if it's positive, can be challenging initially because it can be disorienting, right? So this card speaks to how during those times of transition, which happen to all of us, and some people in the first 2 weeks of March, this card might really speak to you, especially if you chose card number 1. Your sensitivity, that clairsentient psychic pathway, your feeling psychic pathway, will increase temporarily. This is to really help you navigate this change and transition. So it's your spidey sense, it's your intuition saying, let's put more juice towards this clairsentient psychic pathway. This will help this person navigate the change and transition. It might be that you're changing jobs and you really get a strong feeling in an interview, oh, this is the job I should go with. I can trust that because my feeling psychic pathway is stronger now. It might be that you're moving and you look at a home or an apartment and you get the sense of like, okay, I really got a kind of a cold or, no feeling there, or even maybe a bit of a red flag. This probably isn't the right home or apartment. Let me look at another with the person that's helping me. So this clairsentient psychic pathway that's always active for a lot of people, probably the ones watching this video. You might find in the first 2 weeks of March, it's just a little more alive and a little more aware, and you're really picking up on a lot of energy and emotions around you. Because of that, there's an even more intense need sometimes to ground, to come back to rest, and to have downtime where you can just kind of settle your system because you're feeling a lot. But this is really meant to help you. And I'm hearing right now from my clear audience, the intuitive voice in my mind, there's going to be a lot of proactive energy for some people watching this video in the first 2 weeks of March. So if it feels very proactive, I got to get out there and make some decisions or do some things or sort some things out, this clairsentience is there to help you. And in a synchronicity, it's funny, I was going to mention one of my empath books today in the video, and here we have the perfect card to intro me into that. So empaths are people who are naturally very strong in clairsentience. They really pick up on the energy and emotions of other people, spaces, the collective, and actually feel them in their own system as if these are their own energy and emotions. It's a wonderful way to go through life to be that sensitive. I'm that sensitive myself. And at the same time, you really need to have special tools for sensitive people with your self-care to help navigate that and make the most of it and protect yourself when you need to. So I have my book. This is one of my best-selling books called Self-Care for Empaths. And I wrote this, it came out the end of 2020, and there is a hardcover edition that has been really successful, sells on Amazon and in bookstores. And Barnes & Noble, I was so delighted, wanted to do their own version of this. So it's the exact same book, but it's in paperback. And if you're looking to, get a bargain in the first 2 weeks of March, it's only $8. If you go into the store and they have a copy, you can pick one up for $8, or you can go on the Barnes & Noble website. So again, this is Self-Care for Empaths. It's tools specifically for sensitive people. And you can get it at Barnes & Noble in the stores or online for $8, which is a nice kind of bargain price you can take advantage of. It's also really popular on Amazon in the hardcover edition, so you can find it there too. And if you have read Self-Care for Empaths, don't forget to check out my book, Empath Heart. This was the follow-up to Self-Care for Empaths. I felt really called to write this book because I have so many sensitive clients. I do intuitive readings with thousands of people all over the world. I have. And I'm still doing intuitive readings. And I started noticing some patterns among sensitive people as far as how they handle their relationships. Relationships of all types, could be coworkers, friends, family, lovers, what have you. And there's lots of tools for sensitive people to really better navigate and enjoy their intimate relationships in this book. Okay, so that was a lot for card number 1. If you're a sensitive person, I hope that helped. Okay, this is a great card, a little bit different, and I like that. Card number 2 is Recognize Signs and Synchronicities. So here we go. Some coincidences are random, others are full of meaning. If you dream of someone and then run into them by chance, read a slogan on a billboard that's like an answer to a prayer, or a friend recommends a book on a subject you've been privately pondering, consider it a sign. All right, so card number 2 is Signs and Synchronicities, and this actually does kind of fold in nicely now that I think about it to card number 1. It tells a bit of a story because signs and synchronicities really increase whenever we are navigating a transition. So again, there might be people in the first half of March that are really, I feel like this is a positive, maybe even getting a second chance at some things for some people watching this video. It feels like a very buoyant energy I just heard, and you might start getting more signs and synchronicities to help you navigate that. So if you're not sure what a sign or synchronicity is, don't worry, I've got you. Simply Google the word synchronicity, and my article that explains it in depth will be one of the first 2 or 3 articles that pops up. It's an article I wrote with Mind Body Green. So if you're a little fuzzy on what a synchronicity is, just Google synchronicity and you'll see my article. Basically, in a nutshell, it's when you have something happen externally in your intuition. So again, you get a sign, someone's talking about something in the grocery store that you were just wondering about, and you're overhearing a conversation. Oh my gosh, I was just wondering about something with taxes, and these people in line next to me are talking about taxes. Then the next morning, my coworker started talking about her tax person who's helping her with taxes. I was just wondering if I needed to get someone to help me with my taxes, and I'm getting, all these signs from the universe about it. So signs and synchronicities come along to help you make better decisions, and they catch your intuitive blind spot. So your internal intuition can't catch everything. So externally, you will get signs and synchronicities that can show up in a variety of ways that are not random. They are benevolent forces directing you externally, and your own internal intuition will say, ooh, I'm getting chills. I can't stop thinking of that thing that happened today, that conversation. My internal intuition is letting me know that this was a sign, this was a synchronicity. It was a hint or a clue of which direction to go right now in the first 2 weeks of March regarding this transition I'm navigating. Okay, sign number 2. And I really love synchronicities because sometimes when you're just not sure, or you think you might know, but you need a little bit more help, you can start to get really strong, kind of dramatic signs and synchronicities like, wow, there's no question this was a sign. Or you could get repetitive ones. Those are fun too, where it's the same message keeps coming to you. It's like, yep, I got it, guides and angels. This is something I need to pay attention to. So let's look at card number 3. So if you chose card number 3, you really chose a soothing card from the Grief, Grace, and Healing deck. It is called Create Your Healing Well. Taking in loss and grieving happens gradually. It's too much to feel or comprehend all at once. Making healthy space around an issue can be necessary. Create a healing well with your heart energy and place anything in its loving alchemical depths while you temporarily walk away to get some healing room. This is really a lovely card number 3. If you pick that from for the first 2 weeks of March, it's from my Grief, Grace, and Healing deck. The idea of this healing well, and if you get the deck, you'll understand more about it, but it's the idea that we can take something that is really difficult to digest all at once, a worry that's on our mind that we know we need to get some space from or surrender, or something that we just can't fix, we can't control right now. Something that will take time for it to heal, for it to resolve, and we need some healthy space from it. We can kind of create this mystical, loving healing well in our own heart, and we can place that issue there and know that the angels, the guides, our own heart energy, life is working on it while we get a little bit of a break. We get some space. So if there is something you're navigating in the first 2 weeks of March that has been a lot, that has been challenging, that has been heavy, again, it could even be something really positive, but it's just been a lot and you need some space, you need a break, or you really need to practice surrender. I've done all I can. Time might be the best medicine. I'm not sure of the next step. I need a break for my own mental and emotional health, and to give the loving forces, the guides and the angels, more room to navigate and work their magic, and maybe even give me some synchronicities about it. Let me just get some space from this and know I'm putting it in my healing well in my heart. There are alchemical forces working on it there for me while I step back and surrender. It's something we don't talk about a lot when we talk about manifestation, but surrender is often one of the most powerful tools with manifestation. And when we remind ourselves we're giving it to the angels, we're giving it to a higher force, we're doing whatever practical steps we need to do, on the ground here. But we're releasing our need to control it or fix it or have it resolved right away. We're giving it to a higher power. It helps us relax and know that the higher power really is working on it. And because we're humans with such powerful free will, but when we authentically release and surrender and step back a bit, it gives the angels and guides and the higher power more room to work and maneuver. So I think it's, when I look at these 3 cards telling a story, it's a balance in the first 2 weeks of March. There's going to be maybe a lot going on, a lot of transition, a lot of need to be proactive, also a need to create some space, to surrender, to realize that you're not the only one working on these issues with you. There's a higher power that is accompanying you, and it's safe sometimes to step back, take a breather, and get some space for yourself and let the higher power work on healing it. These videos are so healing for me. I cannot tell you how much I enjoy getting dressed up and getting everything ready to do one. And really, these messages are healing for me as the next 2 weeks. I'll think of the cards, and remember, your own intuition might talk to you during these videos. Watch it back and see if you're getting intuitive hits, some out-of-the-box ideas, or man, I really feel like Tanya was speaking to me when she said that one thing in the video. So let these help you navigate the first 2 weeks of March. You can also think of them as just some lovely messages to help you navigate the next 2 weeks with your mindfulness, self-love, and self-care practice, no matter what's going on in your life. And I will see you for the next video, which will be in the middle of March, when we'll pull 3 more cards for the last half of the month. Until then, thank you so much for being here with me. I really feel your energy, and it's just such a snuggly, loving, healing, warm energy for me. So thank you for being here. If you're ever curious about getting an intuitive reading with me, or you want to get any of these products that I've put out, the Oracle decks, any of my books, there's links below to help you get any of that, anything that's going to help you, any tools I have that might be of help, and how I can be of service to you. So thank you. You're of service to me just by being here. You can like this video or subscribe to the channel to help the channel grow. And I'll see you next time. Until then, I am sending you lots of angels to help you navigate the first 2 weeks of March.